Matt Campbell saw the need to upgrade the offensive line, even if it is just filling bodies and getting where you win ball games. It doesn't matter what conference you're in; it's in the trenches.
And to the conference championships, the potential playoff runs, that extra offensive lineman could be the difference maker. Coming in at our number 23 spot, the Iowa State Cyclones. Almost messed that one up. Bring in 2 interior offensive linemen to bolster up front in a Big 12 conference that, as we mentioned in the previous segment with the ACC, Big 12's wide open as well. We're going to talk about 2 guys in Austin Barrett and Derek Jensen. Austin Barrett transferring in from Indiana. And then you got a guy like Derek Jensen who's transferring in from Wisconsin. 2 big body guys coming into a mid-tier, as we would say, Power 4 team. And this is an interesting pickup. Brad, I think the initial comment or question that I have for you is, do you think adding mid-tier Power 4 linemen moves the needle? Or is this just a matter of moving and filling bodies?
I hate to be the it's a little bit of both, but I'm gonna say it's a little bit of both. I don't know that it moves the needle a ton, and I don't know that it's just all about filling bodies. But look, there's so much futility in college football rosters these days. Obviously, these guys can transfer in the middle of the season. We're not going to get into that, but having bodies never hurts. In a conference with the Big 12 where, I wouldn't say it's the most physical conference. I think Iowa State plays a physical brand of football, but a conference known for, wide open offense. Offensive line depth is never a bad thing. And now, I think you have a good point on our notes here. Rocco Becht. Rocco Becht is a very, very good quarterback. He's had 2 really, really solid years as Iowa State starting quarterback. They need guys to continue to protect him, open up the running game. You have that as well, and I think that's important. Rocco Becht has got a chance to, I'm just thinking about, he's got a chance to be maybe, in the conversation for the top 2 or 3 best quarterbacks in the Big 12. I'm not going to get into those right now, but he has shown he is definitely capable of being a very, very good quarterback. And bringing in Austin Barrett and bringing in Derek Jensen, look, these are 2 big guys. They're both listed at tackle. I'm curious to see, do they stay there? Does one of them end up moving inside to one of the guard positions? But this offensive line depth, it's never a bad thing. Offensive line, defensive line depth, you can never have too many bodies. Is kind of my philosophy, and I like the move. And Matt Campbell also being an offensive line coach. In his past, I think he recognizes that.
Yeah, I put in my notes, not flashy, but vital for the offensive line stability.
Absolutely.
And I think that sums it up pretty nicely. We watched Iowa State get absolutely destroyed by Arizona State. Mm-hmm. And one of the biggest things that stood out, you mentioned the flashiness of Rocco Becht and his ability as a quarterback. That dude got slammed down a lot. I mean, he got hurt a lot last year. And I think Matt Campbell saw that. I think Matt Campbell saw the need to upgrade the offensive line, even if it is just filling bodies and getting that extra depth. You can, to your point, you can never have enough offensive linemen. You can never have enough defensive linemen. Where you win ball games, it doesn't matter what conference you're in, it's in the trenches. Yeah. And we've seen Miami develop one of the top 5 offensive lines in the country. Georgia obviously does it year in, year out. Bama, Ohio State, those schools, they develop up front because they know, early on in the season versus Marshall, maybe versus TCU, stuff like that, you're not going to see that big of a difference. But when you get later on down in the schedule, when you get to the conference championships, to potential playoff runs, that extra offensive lineman could be the difference maker.
Absolutely. And, with college football, I think it's so tough to ask a freshman offensive lineman to come and play because we see these guys that are even your 3-star offensive linemen. They're so much bigger. They're so much more physical. They're going to dominate high school defensive linemen. But then, it's your generational top type guys in your first round picks. Yes, they can come in and start, start as a freshman. But when you have 2 guys that come from a Power 5 conference, and you have two guys that transfer to your school, to your team, that have got significant playing time, that's very, very valuable. And I think that's the move that Matt Campbell was trying to make here. And it's successful. Like I said, I really like this move. I just think it's, even if these guys, if they play, in a game, if they play 30, 35 snaps, that's still valuable depth for Iowa State.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's going to be intriguing to see what happens in the Big 12 this year. Iowa State obviously made it to the Big 12 championship last year, hoping to make another run back. And Matt Campbell, like I said, he saw, okay, what are our weaknesses? Offensive line stability. And that's what he went out and did. Nothing flashy, but it's much needed. It'll be interesting to see what ends up happening for the Iowa State Cyclones this year. If you're a Cyclones fan, be sure to drop a comment down below what you think about your new interior offensive lineman transfers, Barrett and Jensen additions to your offensive line. What do you think? Can they protect Rocco Becht this year? And can Iowa State make it back to the Big 12 championship once again? We'll see you next week. Be sure to subscribe down below, give this video a like, and turn on the bell notifications so you can stay up to date when we post our latest content. We'll see you next time. It's time to break the huddle.